Imagine you're a king, big crown, fancy castle, the whole world bowing to you. But then you fall hard for someone nobody's cool with, and it flips your life upside down. That's Edward II, England's top guy from 1284 to 1327. A dude whose heart got him in so much trouble. He lost his throne, his crew, and everything else. Rome wasn't his beef. Nope, his real fight was at home. 'Cause this king wasn't chasing wars or gold. He was chasing love. And man, did it set the kingdom on fire. Edward grew up as the Golden Kid, born in 1284 to King Edward I. A hardcore warrior would smashed rebels, built castles, and wanted his son to be just as tough. But Edward, he wasn't into swinging swords or crushing enemies. He liked fancy outfits, throwing wild parties, and chilling with his buddies. Especially one guy who flipped his whole world. That guy was Piers Gaveston, a slick, smooth-talking noble from Gascony, with a grin that could charm a snake and a vibe that rubbed everyone the wrong way. They clicked when Edward was a teen. Piers strutted into court around 1300, caught the prince's eye, and boom, they were tighter than glue, way past just pals. Edward's dad, the old king, wasn't having it. He thought Piers was a cocky troublemaker, too close to his son. So in 1307, he booted him out, like, "Get out of England, punk." But then Edward I kicked the bucket that same year. Edward II grabbed the crown at 23, and his first move, Piers, "My man, get back here. We're running this show together." He didn't stop there. Showered Piers with gold, gave him sweet lands in Cornwall, slapped the title Earl of Cornwall on him, treating him like a freaking prince. That pissed off the nobles big time. They're like, "Who's this nobody getting all the king's goodies? We're the real deal here." Oh, and Edward was already hitched. Tied the knot with Isabella of France in 1308, a drop-dead gorgeous princess, daughter of the French king, meant to glue England and France tight. But Edward barely gave her a nod. His eyes were locked on Piers. His time, his cash, everything went to him, leaving Isabella steaming on the sidelines. The nobles weren't cool with it either. They saw Piers as a leech, a guy who'd snaked his way into the king's head, controlling him like a puppet master. The court started buzzing. By 1312, Thomas, Earl of Lancaster, teamed up with the big nobles, hunted Piers down in Scarborough, grabbed him, and took him out. No trial, just gone. Edward heard and broke, shut himself in his room for weeks, barely touched food. Some say he was ready to toss the crown and cry it out forever. But that was just the warm-up. Isabella, his wife, was fed up, her pride smashed, her anger boiling over. She wasn't going to sit there and take it anymore. She linked up with Roger Mortimer, a tough noble who'd been kicked out of England. They started plotting, whispering, "Let's ditch Edward and take this kingdom for ourselves." In 1326, Isabella and Roger pulled off a power move. She sailed from France with an army, landed in England, and started tearing through the countryside, gunning for Edward. Edward's nobles turned on him. His army melted away, and he had to run, but they caught him hiding out, dragged him back, and locked him up tight in a cold, dark cell. Isabella and Roger weren't playing. By 1327, they made sure Edward was out of the picture for good, ending his reign in a grim, quiet way nobody talks about straight up. But the story keeps rolling. Edward's son, Edward III, grew up pissed, stormed the throne back in 1330, nabbed Roger, and had him taken out for good. No messing around. Isabella got stuck under house arrest till she died. Her big win turned sour, and Edward VI's tale stayed hush-hush for ages, buried under whispers and shadows. So what's the real deal? Was Edward head over heels for Piers, or just tight buddies? Historians dig deep. Some say he was all about guys. Others figure he swung both ways. Either way, his love for Piers was legit. It lit a fuse that blew up his crown, his marriage, his whole life, leaving a story that still hits hard.